almost out of coffee beans at home, and we are supposed to be getting snowed in, or we don't really know how bad it's gonna be, but we didn't have enough beans for coffee, and so it was a now or never situation with getting coffee beans because it's supposed to only get worse from here with the snow. That's the is it the stitch or the stitch? Whichever one. So it's actually, it don't feel that cold out.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah. About crispy edge pancakes, and I'm thinking they crispy edge because y'all frying them.
They do be good though.
They be fire, but it's tea when you see them too. You know it's tea when you see them two fingers touch it.
Hey vlog, I am making my second coffee of the day, which I do not need. It's actually the second coffee of the morning. I just had one 2 hours ago, but I made some new syrup. This is a rose vanilla syrup that I made, and it is so good. I literally cannot stop drinking it. It's a shame. That's why we didn't need that machine. That's the only downside to that machine. Okay, it saves us some money. We get a better taste than the Nespresso, and trust me, Nespresso was good enough for me. But since we've gotten that, the number of coffees I consume a day, it really ain't that much. It's just usually about 2, but I'm trying not to create a habit of having more than one. But I got my oat milk here. This one is pretty good, but I would say my favorite is the Oatly extra creamy. It froths really good when I need hot milk. And then another one, I wasn't expecting it because it's like $3, is the Walmart extra creamy oat milk. It froths pretty good. It tastes good. This used to be our favorite, which we only got this one because I don't know if my husband went to Publix or Kroger. I don't remember, but he said they didn't have the Oatly, and then obviously the better goods can only be bought at Walmart. I'm gonna take some of my syrup and I'm gonna put it in here. I've kind of learned the key to making a well-balanced iced latte here at home, and that's by putting everything in here first instead of in the cup that I'm gonna drink out of. I don't know, it just, also the TikTok baristas said that that's what helps, and that's how they should be making them at the shops. But I'm gonna put 1 ounce of this in here, and this is pretty low sugar. I used a 1/2 cup of sugar. I usually do a 1-to-1 ratio white sugar and water, but I'm trying to be mindful of my sugar intake. Plus, I've just not been needing super sugary drinks. One of our favorite coffee shops here in Columbia, they use a very small amount of syrup in their coffee drinks, and I've really just started to like that taste. I like the taste of the espresso in the milk and the syrup. I like being able to taste all of it and being able to taste how it all comes together. Then we're gonna take our espresso. It might look a little poor. Something is going on with our machine. Girl, I don't know. I tried to troubleshoot it, so that's kind of another reason I made another coffee. Not really, but the shots ain't looking the best, but we ain't gonna let this go to waste. So we're gonna pour that in there, like so, like that. And then we're gonna take our milk. I'm not a big milk person in my iced lattes. Honestly, the less milk the better. Like, I love the amount of milk that goes in a shaken espresso from Starbucks because that's what makes that drink so good. It's not a latte. It's literally espresso with a splash of oat milk in it. And I don't think people really realize that, but that's kind of the amount of milk I like in my iced lattes. And so we have all of our liquids in here. I'm gonna add ice to this. Okay, and this is where the magic happens. You take your cup that you're gonna drink out of, your little cup that has all your things in it, and you're just going to take it back and forth so it gets a nice good little mixture going. And look at that. That is the perfect iced latte color to me. Everybody has their own opinions. This is how you want your iced latte to look. It should be no lighter than this. Maybe a smidge lighter, but anything too crazy, that mug is milk sick. We're gonna get into some skincare because I actually need to make a few runs. I need to go get a few more clips for some content that I'm doing. It's branded content. I'm working with Neutrogena. They have a new lip product that just came out, and I got some of the clips yesterday, but literally they did not have the product at Ulta. That's where I have to go and get some of the storefront and all that kind of stuff. They literally did not have the product yesterday. I checked the website this morning and they got it. So I could have waited to get all of my clips, but I'm also glad that I didn't do that because it's raining today. And so the clips that I had to get outside wouldn't have been what I wanted them to be because it's gloomy out. So it kind of worked out. Honestly, I'm not making a big deal about having to go back and forth. I ain't really doing nothing anyway. I washed my face last night and I don't like to double cleanse in a day, so in the morning and at night I don't like doing that, but sometimes my face do need a good little refresh, so I usually just do the micellar cleansing water from Garnier. This is the one that I use with the pink top. It is a difference. I don't know what they all are, but the pink top is what I like best, and I usually just literally go across my skin and across my face. I'm glad that I finally found a pretty solid skincare routine for my sensitive skin. It's very sensitive, but it's also very dry. So I can't not put anything on it, but I can't just put anything on it, which it's been a lot of trial and error, but I finally found some products that work well. This is the Bioma Milky Toner. I love this stuff. It adds just the right amount of moisture that I need kind of as a base on my face, so I always go in with this first after cleansing rather with an actual face wash or the cleansing water, and I try to make sure I really get my nose area since that is a problem area for me, and then I like to fan before I add anything else. And then this is the hyaluronic acid serum from Good Molecules. The one from The Ordinary isn't bad either, but I'm pretty sure the Good Molecules one is like a few dollars cheaper. And then for my actual cream moisturizer, I do the Pond's facial moisturizer. I used to use this back in high school, and then what I didn't realize is that this is a moisturizer that's best used in the winter because it is so thick. And so in the summer, I'll have to find something else because girl, I will put this on my face, and the minute I stepped outside during the summer, I would be sweating, or it would feel like sweat, but it's not the sweat, it's literally the moisturizer because it's so thick. And so I stopped using it because I was like, what the heck is going on? But it wasn't until I got older that I learned that you do have to use different products during different seasons. So this is perfect during the winter. And so 9 times out of 10, the reason my nose has been really flaky is because I've just not been applying my skincare products like I should. Something I've been thinking about a lot is how I need to slow down. I'm always in a rush and just day-to-day things for no reason. Like literally, I have no reason to rush through my skincare right now. I had a moment the other day where I was washing my hands, and when I tell you I was washing my hands like the building was finna burn down. And it's like, girl, you literally have the 30 seconds that it takes to wash your hands. Literally take the whole 30 seconds. First of all, technically, if you ain't cleaned them for 30 seconds, they ain't clean anyway, okay? But I just noticed that I would just be, and like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And 9 times out of 10, I was rushing to go back and sit down on the couch and scroll on my phone. You're not even rushing to do anything of much value. You know what I'm saying? Girl, slow down. Slow down. You literally have time. There's no need to rush. Like, whatever you need to get to next, it'll be there. Not too much. I'll be having my coffee in the bathroom. Okay. Another favorite of mine, I picked up this Aveeno lotion because all the lotions and body creams that I had, baby, they wasn't doing nothing for my skin. I had dry patches all over me, honey. And everything that I already own just was not working. This is the dry, very dry, sensitive skin moisturizing lotion. And I really, really like it. Something I'm excited about is after I bought this, I actually get the opportunity to work with them on a partnership soon. So that was kind of cool. It did make me say like, dang, I wish I hadn't bought this then, because they're going to give me the big boy with the pump. But it's like, at least I can genuinely and authentically vouch for it because it really does work. And I really, really do like it. Literally within hours of using this, the dry patches I had on my skin, gone. I'm gonna finish getting dressed and then I'll catch up with y'all when we're on our way out the door. I just pulled up to Ulta. I'm about to look again and make sure that I know exactly what I need to come in here and get, what angles I need to get in here. Looks like they actually don't have it because it would have been right here. They might have it in store and just have not put it out yet, is what I'm thinking. Because when I was looking for it before this week, it was saying like not available online. Now it's saying available. I'm looking on this cart right here because maybe they putting it out. Because I would literally grab one if it was on there. And I'm not mad because I actually need to return something to Old Navy, and the Old Navy is literally right up here, and I forgot to bring what I needed to return yesterday, so I needed to come back to this area anyway, and so it works out in that way. MasterCard that we use. Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. You too. Hey vlog, it's been a few hours. I just finished making my dinner. I'm having what are these called, chicken quesadillas, which is technically leftovers. This is what we had last night, and then we got some homemade like avocado, some type of sauce that's like avocado based. And we have been getting more into using plain Greek yogurt for all of our sauces, and you would be surprised that honestly, if you didn't know any better, it's kind of like sour cream. It don't taste that much different from sour cream. It doesn't have all the calories in it. And so we have started using that for really a bulk of our sauces. Bottled sauces just are not good for you. You can only use a little bit, but they have so many calories, or you can only use a little bit because they have so many calories, and it's just not worth your calorie intake if you're counting calories and trying to be mindful of, you know, your calorie intake. But while I eat, I'm also gonna finish watching Jasmine's vlog. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to come out here and talk about something that has been pressing on my heart for probably the last few weeks, and that's been, what would it look like to do less and just slow down? I know I talked a little bit about slowing down earlier in the vlog, but my mentor said something at the beginning of the year that really has stuck with me, and it has continuously come up for me in the new year, but I've also seen it play out in my life really. She said, our superpower this year is going to be doing less. When I came into 2026, I had all of these plans, particularly centered around content. I feel like I had a great content year in 2025. I saw so much growth. I feel like I learned a lot. I stepped out of a lot of boxes. I did a lot of new things and things that I thought that I would never do. I got to work with brands. I got paid by some brands. And from that momentum, I kind of created these goals and plans for my content for 2026. And then it's like suddenly the new year came in and all of those plans that I had the excitement and just the pure desire to follow through on them just went away. Like, I did not want to do any of the things that I had planned. I had planned to post this many times a week and to post these types of videos this many times a week and do that on Instagram and do that on TikTok. And I don't know, I just looked up and I was like, I don't want to do any of that. And honestly, I didn't put the pressure on myself to do those things. I allowed myself to have that. And I really did sit and just reconsider a lot of things. And there were some things that came back up that I had thought about months prior. And I truly believe that it was the Lord bringing it back to me and kind of showing me that me getting that idea months ago was not really my idea. It wasn't me who came up with it, but really it was him who was giving me, said idea that just miraculously came back to mind months later. When I made that decision to not follow my plans, which that's a whole nother thing of I made plans without really considering the Lord. And I talked a little bit about that in last vlog. But honestly, when I look back at it, I did. I tried to say that I planned all these things with the Lord, but somewhere along the way, I started stepping into my own understanding. But in the midst of God telling me to pivot, I feel like He pivoted me towards doing less. And the beautiful, amazing, and kind of funny thing is, God has blessed the less that I've done within just the last month tremendously. I mean, I feel like I've seen more fruit in what I have been creating in just this last month than I have in the previous 6 months when I was grinding, go, doing all these things and really doing all the right things according to the world, according to the algorithm. The world would say, I need to post this many times. I need to post this type of content, use these types of hooks and all of these things, all of these steps and tips and tricks. But when I threw all of that away and I truly did what I feel God instructed me to do, and I prayed over it and I asked Him to bless it, I got that. He answered that. And so that has just been a continuous challenge for me. What would it look like to do less and let God bless that? Because at the end of the day, He is who I answer to. I don't answer to algorithms. I don't answer to the world. Ultimately, He's the one that has given me this gift to create. And it will only be right if I create it in the way that He instructs, because He's the one who gave it to me anyway. And ultimately, creating is not just a fun hobby. It's not just something that I do. I do enjoy it. It is a hobby, but it's not only that. This is also my ministry. And so it's important that I am obedient to the way God instructs me to walk out my ministry through content. And I think the other beautiful but crazy thing is, since I've slowed down and started going at the pace that God has instructed me to go, I've had ideas shoot out of the ground. God has literally provided step by step by step. Because when He told me to do one thing, I was kind of like, well, Lord, okay, you gave me the first idea, but what happens when I get here? Okay, after that first idea, what do I do for the second one? Okay, what do I do for the third one? And when I tell you that God has been providing, but only when I take the step that He instructed me to take last. And so I had to do the first thing He told me to do. And when I did that first thing, I kid you not, when it was time to take the next step, there was another idea. There was another instruction. And when I took that second step, when it was time to take the third, there was the instruction. There was the idea. And so it is so true that God is not only a provider, but He is faithful. And I always laughingly say, He knows what He's talking about. He literally knows. When He says to not lean on your own understanding, when He tells you to trust Him with all your mind and your heart and your strength, do it. I'm a living testament to that. And so from here on out, I want to continue to live a life like that. A life that's slower, a life that's less and not, and maybe in some ways, some tangible things, yes, but just what would it look like to just want less and to live in what I have now, if that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. And what would it look like to just slow down? That's something that we all can do more of, especially in the time that we're living in. We literally live in a time of quick, quick, quick. We live in a time where everything is created to happen quickly. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to slow down. Nobody wants anything to take any more time than it needs to or has to. But what would it look like to just embrace that more? How can we see God clearer when we slow down? Because that's the truth. You literally can hear, see, and think clearer when you slow down. God is just so good. I always get to these points in the vlog and I always think, feels like I'm just saying a bunch of words. Like, I don't know if any of what I'm saying is making sense. It's probably giving word salad. But I know that God will bless it anyway, because another big part of what I'm doing is getting away from wanting to show up perfectly. I just want to show up faithfully. The word of the year is faithful.